Hello and welcome. This is our special edition. Today I'm gonna discuss with Mahlet Ayala. Mahlet Ayala is from the Netherlands and she is host and founder of Connect Africa. And welcome to this interview.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And well, the United Nations and Security Council decided that the issue of GERD should be seen by AU, African Union. And what is your reaction on this?
Well, yeah, that just happened the day before yesterday. It's a good question to start with. I think I would say that it is a blessing in disguise. Every challenge has an opportunity, and that's exactly what happened for Ethiopia. The challenge is that all Ethiopians were not happy that the issue of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is gone to or put on the table of the United Nations Security Council because it's a pure development project or a hydroelectric project, and it's not a trade. As a matter of fact, what it is it's a justice. It's a project that brings justice not only to Ethiopians but also to the region. Ethiopia is. Historically never been to a threat to anyone, let alone in the project that it's doing. Ethiopia is historically, it's a founder of the League of Nations. It's a founder of the African Union, or the then Organization of African Unity. And it has contributed not only in Africa, but to the world, to the peace and security process in different times of history in the world, by sending its army. This project would not have been really, the issue of GERD should have not been sent to the United Nations, but that's unfortunately what happened because of Egypt and Sudan. So the opportunity, or what I call the blessings that came with it, is a lot is going in Ethiopia. The dynamic of politics is really, daily changing, in all that Ethiopians, at home and in diaspora, have united, and they took the issue to the forefront of, you have seen how Ethiopians were, physically present in the office of the United Nations to make their voice heard, that this is not an issue for the United Nations. It's an African river. It's a project in Ethiopia or in Africa. All the riparian states are in Africa, so it should be dealt only by the African Union. And UN cannot demean the AU-led process of the GERD. And also, if you have seen the online presence of Ethiopians, it's invited. It's a party that's invited by Egypt, Sudan, and Egypt. But all the attendance of, if we can call this a party, where Ethiopians, like almost 12,000 people were online. If you see the chat group, the chat history, it's all Ethiopians. It's all, the flag of Ethiopians, and people expressing their voice. You hardly see Egyptians, their online presence. So what the blessing is that it kind of united us. It's exactly what Ethiopia says in its stance. It's not only a development project, it's a national, it's a flag carrier project. And that's exactly what happened. And the United Nations, the Security Council, all the permanent, non-permanent members of the Security Council have told the trilateral group to go back to the AU, the African Union-led process, and they give their support. Even countries that we have seen who had struggled to swallow that, countries like the United States and the UK, have supported that issue. This issue has to go back to the African Union. So it was a victory, and we should own this narrative. And we really, it's not only Ethiopia really did not make her voice heard. The Ethiopians did not make their voice heard for their own sake, but it's also for Africa. They brought the African Union in the forefront of the world. So Yeah, it was a blessing in disguise.
And why do you think that some countries, just of course, there are also many countries that are defending Ethiopia, and but why some countries are against Ethiopia in this Gerd issue?
Well, you know, we to start with, we have to put some facts on record. The Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, it's a dam on the right place at the right time. They all know that, both our partners, the Egyptians, and if I may call them our partners, and the Sudanese. This is a place really that can, you know, preserve the water, that can prevent the waters that's lost during evaporation in the Aswan High Dam. And this is the dam, and this is the place that their colonial powers, even earlier, that they sought to build at this place. But the then emperors of Ethiopia at that time did not believe this colonial power, I mean, namely the United Kingdom or Britain, you know, if they come in, then how would we be able to kick them out? And rightly so, actually, because Britain, later on, they came in and they didn't go out. And we know what happened historically in Ogaden. So they said, we better get hungry than letting them allow to build this project in our territory. So but the right time came now. So in 2010 or 11, we were able to launch this project when Ethiopians are able to build the dam from their own finance. So they know that, to stick to your question, so they know that both Egyptians and the Sudanese people, and also the Westerners who are against this, so to speak, they know that this is the right place. But it's just, you know, it has to do a lot with the geopolitics of the place. And, you know, Egypt being the strategic partner of the US or the West could not let that go just like that, because literally Ethiopia will not only bring light to the 65 millions of its people, but it's also going to power itself economically and regionally. It's going to become their regional powerhouse of the Eastern Africa. So Egypt could not allow that, because Egypt being, you know, by having, first of all, by having that Aswan High Dam in its territory has attracted a lot of investors, you know, from all parts of the world, from Middle East, from US, from Europe. So it has that economical power, and also politically, you know, being now that it has changed recently, but it was the only country from the Middle East who signed a peace agreement with Israel. So it was kind of their corridor or their gate to the Middle East. So they didn't want to lose that. That's why US was really showing the support, like really biased to the Egypt side. And we have seen that what happened when Egypt breached the trilateral agreement and took the matter in 2019 and in the beginning of 2020 to the US. US has shown clearly its bias to the Egypt side, and thankfully the Ethiopians negotiators have walked out from that, which was the right thing to do. So, but the truth of the matter, what we have to know is, at the end of the day, you know, Ethiopia has to persist and achieve this goal, build the dam, and achieve the goal that it's planning to achieve, you know, bringing light to its people. The Westerners will start to work with that government. I mean, whether they like it or not, we just have to persist. That's the truth of the matter.
And even why Egypt and Sudan are against the truth, because more than 85% of the water is from Ethiopia. This is obvious. Why they are against the truth?
Well, it's, I mean, again and again, it might be a cliche what I'm going to say, but, you know, the thing is, we are dealing with I wouldn't say people, because usually people are different, like the ordinary people, but the political leaders in the country are they are using the issue of GERD to really to shift the internal pressures that they have inside. I mean, namely Egypt, because it's recently that Sudan joined the club of Egypt. And Sudan, I mean, for a long time, we know that they have been supportive of GERD, and they were really as eager as Ethiopians to reap the fruit of GERD. So it's better that I aim my argument against the political leaders of Egypt. So what's happening is, yes, I mean, the fact is that Ethiopia contributes, as you rightly said, 86% of the Blue Nile water, or as we call it at home, the Abai from Abai River, and also, but they are, I mean, what's happening is they are zero contributor of this of the Nile water, both of them. And in terms of, if we see the coverage, like the coverage, the use of the water, they are using it. One is using, according to their colonial agreement, one is using 55, the other one is 18%, and leaving the other to evaporation, and leaving the 86% of the contributor just like that, has never been consulted, nothing, and they are 100% using the water, but we are not using, while we are contributing 86% of the water. And also in terms of the benefits that it brings, Egyptians, all Egyptians, 100% have electricity access from the Aswan High Dam, which they built, on the Nile water. And Egyptians have 60% of their people have electricity access, whereas when you come to Ethiopia, only 30% of the population have the access, to electricity. So we are dealing with political leaders that chose to be ignorant. But what has to happen is we no more are not, first of all, Ethiopia is not part of that colonial agreement. Even if they, they always say Ethiopians take to that colonial agreement, they say they passed that and they have signed the cooperative framework agreement in 2015. They say they passed that stage, but they are not actually. What they are trying to do in the binding agreement is bringing that colonial power, that colonial agreement back to its place. So it's really always the narrative is revolving around that. This is why most of Ethiopians, like me and others, you will hear bringing that to the table, because that's exactly what they are trying to achieve. So the truth is, Egypt, we are in the 21st century. I mean, it's their own choice to live in the colonial era or to wake up to the reality of the 21st century and act in partnership with the rest of the riparian states, not only Ethiopia, but also the other countries. Because, today it could be Ethiopia, but tomorrow it could be Burundi, it could be Uganda, it could be other countries who want to build on the Nile water. So really, we have to achieve the equitable, the fair share of the Nile water.
Really, your contribution, especially Ethiopian diaspora contribution, is immeasurable. And there are also some who are against their own country, of course. And what the diaspora community role should be, in your opinion?
Well, my message is both actually for Ethiopians at home and in diaspora. To defend your country, I really want to underline this. To defend your country does not equate by any means to support the ruling party. We all can have doubts and questions, towards the ruling party, or to the administration now or to the government. But that all can be entertained when we have a sovereign country. So when there is a national agenda, we should all act unified. At least to the minimum, we should learn, from our adversaries. Egyptians, whether it's opposition party or anyone, they all are unified when it comes to the issue of GERD. You see the voice of everyone from all walks of life, all parties, even who are against Al-Sisi, they are unified when it comes to GERD. So first of all, to the one in the diaspora, they should continue to support financially, to the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. This is a security for our future. This is a security for future generation, for our children. So we should not even doubt that. And also, we should always inform ourselves. Information is a power. We should, the diaspora should be a proactive member. It should not always wait from the respective embassies wherever we are. It should be proactive, communicating with the embassy, or it could be with the headquarters, and proactively engage in the GERD issue, because this is not just leaders come and go, but this will be there forever. So it's a national agenda, and they should actively engage. But moreover, what I want to add on this is also, because it's kind of left out every time, we have seen that, historically, whenever Ethiopia wanted to develop or to protect itself. For example, we have seen, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in the 1939, when Emperor Haile Selassie stand in front of the League of Nations and tried to explain how evil the work of the Italy is, and invading his sovereign country. Nobody stood by him. I think Russia had slightly was on our side, but nobody supported him. They just left us there for Europe to scramble Africa and to be invaded by Italy. And also we have seen it by the Great Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. When we wanted to build, nobody, no international organization, although this was a development project that the UN and all its organs really advocate for development, and countries, how they should be self-sustained and develop regional cooperation. All that talk have been swept under the rug when it comes to Ethiopia. No one, the World Bank, nobody gave us the loan. We have seen that nobody is going to stand by us when we want to develop ourselves. We financed this. So what about in the future? We are not going to just stop by GERD. We are going to also do other national projects that help, that enhance the development of the country, that also seeks, the understanding of its own people. Now we did this. What about our children? So my point is, what I wanted to emphasize here is, we should consistently teach our children the history of Ethiopia, and for real, the children in the diaspora, they're not learning any Ethiopian language, no Amharic, no Romanya, no Tigrinya, no Gurage, no nothing. And also same is also with the culture. So we really have to do a lot, at home to teach them, because they are going to be in the future when their help is needed. They should be able to understand the history of Ethiopia and everything. And also this goes to Ethiopians at home. So because in Egypt, not only it's included in education about Nile, everything is named after Nile. And even their game for children, there is about Nile and GERD and everything. So we really have to incorporate it in every level, so that, in the future, people will understand it easily. Yeah, so just to conclude on this question, we have to be unified when it comes to a national agenda. Leaders come and go, but country and people, they will be there forever.
Mahalet Ayala from the Netherlands, host and founder of Connect Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.